All right, let's talk about that heart-pounding, palm-sweating panic that hits right before you have to speak in public. We've all been there. But today, we're not just talking about the fear. We're going to unpack a science-backed way to actually take back control.
So let's start with the truth that is, let's be honest, incredibly frustrating. You know the feeling. Your heart's about to beat out of your chest before a big presentation, and you tell yourself, don't be anxious, just be cool. And nothing happens. It feels like your brain just isn't listening. And it turns out there's a really good reason for that.
I mean, how many times have you heard it or even said it to yourself? Just calm down. But it almost never, ever works. In fact, sometimes it just makes things worse, right? Well, we're about to see exactly why your brain puts up such a big fight against that one simple command.
Okay, so what we're looking at here are the two main ways we try to handle anxiety. On the left, you've got the top-down approach. That's using your thoughts, your logic, your willpower. But when you're in a real state of panic, that's kind of like yelling at a thunderstorm to stop. But on the right, now that's the key, the bottom-up method. It uses a language your panicked brain can actually understand.
Think about it like this. Fear is a high arousal state. Your body is physically revved up, totally ready for action. Calm, on the other hand, is a low arousal state. Trying to jump from high to low instantly is like trying to slam the brakes on a speeding train and expecting it to stop on a dime. It's not going to happen. Your system is too flooded with adrenaline to listen to a quiet command like, relax. So, if your logical, rational brain isn't in the driver's seat when you're feeling that intense anxiety, what is? Well, for that, we have to go deeper to a much, much older part of our brain. And here it is, the limbic system. You can just think of this as your brain's ancient survival hardware. It's been with us for millions of years, and its one and only job is to keep you safe. It doesn't do logic, it doesn't do English, it just runs on pure instinct, and it reacts in a split second when it thinks there's a threat. And this is the absolute crux of the problem. To your ancient animal brain, the fear of being judged by a room full of people feels exactly the same as the fear of a tiger jumping out of the bushes. I mean, it sounds crazy, but the threat of social rejection registers as a full-blown survival threat. So your limbic system hits the big red panic button. And when that alarm bell goes off, your brain goes into full-on fight, flight, or freeze mode. It actually shuts down access to the logical thinking part of your brain, because from its perspective, there's no time to think. It just needs you to react right now. So what does this all mean? It means we can't think our way out of this kind of panic. We need to use a completely different language, one that the limbic system actually gets. We have to come at it from the bottom up, using our body to send a message to our brain. And what is the language of the limbic system? It's physical sensation. It's that simple. By intentionally using your senses, what you can touch, see, and hear, you can send direct, undeniable signals to your animal brain that say, hey, there's no tiger, we're okay. This whole technique is called grounding. You know, anxiety is almost always about the future, about what if. Grounding yanks you out of that future tripping and plants you firmly in the right here, right now. And in this present moment, you're almost always physically safe. Grounding just reminds your survival brain of that basic, simple fact. Okay, so let's make this super practical. Here is a simple, really powerful grounding exercise you can do absolutely anywhere, anytime, and no one will even know you're doing it. We're going to use two of our most powerful senses, touch and sight. And the goal is incredibly simple. Just anchor your brain in the physical reality of this moment. This isn't about positive affirmations or anything like that. It's about paying attention to boring physical facts. For instance, you could be sitting at your desk, heart pounding. You just put your hand on the table and think to yourself, this desk is smooth and cold. Then you touch the fabric on your chair. This is soft and a little bit rough. Then your phone. This glass is hard and slick. Each one of those little descriptions is a message to your brain that says, see, we're here. We're safe. No tiger. Now, it's really important to say the goal here isn't to magically make all anxiety disappear forever. That's not realistic. The goal is to manage it, to turn the volume down from a screaming 10 to something you can actually work with, and to prove to yourself that you're the one in control. And a great way to see this in action is to do a quick check-in. Before you start the grounding exercise, just ask yourself, on a scale from 0 to 10, how anxious am I? Then, after you spend a minute focusing on your senses, rate it again. And listen, seeing that number drop, even if it's just from an 8 to a 7, that is a huge victory. It's real, tangible proof that you have the power to influence your own nervous system. These little wins build on each other, and over time, they train your body to return to a state of what experts call calm resolve.
So by grounding yourself, you stop fighting your brain, and you start working with it. You're communicating directly with your ancient survival instincts in the only language they've ever known. You're literally moving yourself from that panicked danger response to a state of centered, clear-headed control. And really, this isn't just for public speaking. This is a tool you can use in any moment of overwhelming stress. It's a way to step out of the panic and back into the driver's seat. Which leaves us with one final thought. Now that you know how to speak your brain's native language and override the panic, what are you going to achieve?